Hello and thanks for joining me on Sport Pilot James Glory on another exciting episode of Sport Vibe on Dent, where we'll bring you exciting and latest sport happenings across the world of sport every Tuesday this week. Won't be an exception, so I would implore you to please stay tuned because we'll be right back shortly after this break. Welcome back. It's a beautiful Tuesday and we'll start our journey from Germany. We'll talk about Bayern Munich, Bayern Leverkusen and Borussia Dortmund, the team representing the German side in the Champions League, all losing their match during the weekend in the Bundesliga. Who would have thought that Bayern Munich will be losing points and Bayern Leverkusen will be closing the gap between them in the Bundesliga, but that wasn't the case after Bayern Munich was able to defeat Bayern Leverkusen 3-0 in the Champions League draw, and we'll be seeing the return leg this week in the World of Champions League. But in the Bundesliga, these failed to win their matches during the weekend. And talking about the return leg that will be happening between Bayern Munich and Bayern Leverkusen, would Bayern Leverkusen be able to score 3 goals, at least 4, to proceed to the next round of the UEFA Champions League? Is going to be an interesting one to watch out for. Also in the UEFA Champions League between Real Madrid and Atletico Madrid tonight in the world of football, we will be seeing Atletico Madrid pulling up his stunts to win Real Madrid to proceed to the next round of the competition, as we all know that Real Madrid has always had the better of Atletico Madrid in the UEFA Champions League, and in the UEFA Champions League is one of the favorite competitions that Madrid knows how to play the most. They are the most successful club in the UEFA Champions League. Will they be able to hold on to their lead and proceed to the next round of the UEFA Champions League? And talking about the Atletico side and the Real Madrid side, we talk about the Spanish La Liga, where we saw Atletico Madrid being defeated by Getafe, and this has stunned their title race in the Spanish La Liga, as they are currently occupying the 3rd position in the Spanish La Liga. Real Madrid were able to win Rio Vallecano 2-1, where we saw Mbappe and Vinicius Jr. helping them to secure the maximum points that they will need to put pressure on Barcelona. But Barcelona couldn't play their game during the weekend because of the death of one of their doctors in their medical team. This means that Real Madrid are level with Barcelona on points. They have 57 points each, but Barcelona as a game at hand, and if they are able to win that, they'll be able to extend their lead once again to 3 points ahead of Real Madrid. Quite an interesting one in the Spanish La Liga. I'm talking about Barcelona, who were able to defeat Benfica in the UEFA Champions League after going a man down. It's going to be an interesting week in the World of Champions League, as we'll be seeing this team fighting tooth and nail on who will be proceeding next to the UEFA Champions League quarter-final. And yet an interesting one, talking now about who won't be having to fight a lot in the UEFA Champions League round of 16. We talk about Arsenal Football Club, who were able to defeat PSV in a 7-star performance, defeating them 7-1 in the UEFA Champions League night. They have their foot already in the quarterfinals, and they will be set to play any of the Real Madrid side, talking about Atletico Madrid or Real Madrid in the next round of the competition. Will Arsenal Football Club be able to move and proceed to the semi-finals of the UEFA Champions League? We can't say the same thing, but Paris Saint-Germain over the weekend, we knew that they didn't win their match against Liverpool, and they will be return leg at the Anfield Stadium, where we'll see Paris Saint-Germain fighting to proceed to the next round. In the previous round, you know that Paris Saint-Germain were the dominant side, but failed to get away with the win in the tie between them and Liverpool on their home soil in France. And quickly, let's switch our attention to the Premier League. Talking about the Premier League, we start with the defending champion Manchester City who failed to win Nottingham Forest during the weekend. It was a fight between who will be finishing in the third position in the Premier League this season, where we saw Nottingham Forest taking on Manchester City at the weekend. Well, Manchester City were defeated 1-0. Kosei, a goal from Kalamosi Odoi, scoring that goal in the second half to walk away with the maximum point from Nottingham Forest. You remember that Nottingham Forest were initially defeated by Manchester City 3-0 in their previous leg in the Premier League, but this time around, when it matters the most, Nottingham Forest were able to walk away with the maximum point. And also in the Premier League, we know that Bournemouth and Tottenham Hotspur also shared the points during the weekend in the Premier League, and we saw Chelsea Football Club going above Manchester City with a win against Leicester, where we saw their penalty taker, one of the best penalty taker in the history of the Premier League, Cole Palmer, losing a penalty. And Cole Palmer, for over a month right now, is yet to score a goal for Chelsea Football Club, and losing a penalty will be a sore on his injury this time around. And let's see if Chelsea, who are currently above Manchester City in the Premier League table, will be able to sustain that till the end of the season. Liverpool, no story, are way ahead of Arsenal Football Club in the Premier League table after their win against Southampton during the weekend. They came from behind to win that particular match 3-1, where we saw Mo Salah scoring a brace once again to extend his goal contribution in the Premier League and in all competition this season. But permit me to go on a short break, and when we're right back, we continue from where we stop.
JK Royal Signatures, a blend of African fabric.
Welcome back, and thanks for staying tuned. And continuing from where we stopped in the Premier League, we saw Arsenal Football Club taking on Manchester United in the Premier League on Sunday. Between them was a point shared in the Premier League, where Arsenal Football Club were hoping that they will be able to close the gap between them and Liverpool. Manchester United were hoping that they will be able to move closer to the half point in the Premier League this season. But Bruno Fernandes' wonderful free kick saw Manchester United going ahead before the break against Arsenal Football Club, and Arsenal Football Club were able to put one back. Kelsey, the goal from Declan Rice, and this means that the two sides walked away with the points shared at Old Trafford. Manchester United had the chance of winning the game at the later end, where Bruno Fernandes was denied by Raya in the later end of the competition. At the final seconds, the save means that Bruno Fernandes couldn't score the goal, and this means that Arsenal Football Club are 15 points behind Liverpool in the title race in the Premier League, while Arsenal are sitting in the second position. Nottingham Forest are sitting in the third position. They have their eyes on the Champions League football next season, and Nottingham Forest, if you ask me, have done anything that they deserve to play in the Champions League next season. Let's see if they'll be able to maintain that spot in the Premier League and proceed to the Champions League next season. And also, let's switch our attention to one of the league in the world of football, talking about the Serie A, the Italian Serie A, where we saw Inter Milan coming back from behind to win Merzo 3-2 in that particular encounter. Well, Napoli would have been thinking that Menzo will be doing them the favor to reduce the gap between them and Napoli during the weekend, but it was an interesting one also to see Napoli winning Fiorentina during the weekend, where we saw Romelu Lukaku scoring a brace, and this means that Romelu Lukaku in 12 consecutive seasons has been able to score at least 10 goals across all competition that he has played. He has been able to do that across all Europe. Remember, he has switched to Inter Milan at some point. He played for AC AS Roma at some point, and this means that he has been able to score 10 goals in over 12 seasons in all competition across all European clubs that he has played for. What a wonderful record that Romelu Lukaku has, and what a wonderful stunt that we saw during the weekend against Fiorentina to keep the pressure on Inter Milan at the top of the Italian Serie A. And quite an interesting one also during the weekend, we saw a match between Atalanta and Juventus. In that particular match, we have our very own Ademola Lookman scoring a goal out of the 4 goals that was scored against Juventus on their home soil in the Italian Serie A. Inter Milan were defeated by Atalanta 4-0 for the first time in the history of Juventus since the year 1967. This is the first time that they will be considering 4 goals on their home soil, and this game when Atlanta were able to defeat them 4-0 to maintain their 3rd position in the Italian Serie A. What a way to respond to the critics that they have faced after being disqualified from the UEFA Champions League. And our very own Ademola Lookman finding the back of the net once again in the match between them and Juventus. Juventus have themselves to blame as they couldn't move up to the 3rd position in the Italian Serie A, and they maintain the 4th position in the Italian Serie A. And this is the length at which we'll be going on this week's episode of Sport Vibe on DNT Work. For more news and sports stories, follow us across our various social media handles at Sport Vibe on DNT Work. Remain safe, be a law-abiding citizen. Thank you.